For Medicaid, please listen closely. You may be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan from WellCare with a zero or low plan premium. Call now. We can answer your questions and help you enroll over the phone. WellCare provides access to essential benefits that go beyond original Medicare, such as dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage with free home delivery. Free over-the-counter healthcare items, free groceries with a healthy food card, free gym membership, and home-delivered meals. Plus, extra benefits like more access to care with free transportation and WellCare's telehealth services, including online doctor visits. WellCare is contracted with Medicare to provide plans that may be perfect for you. Call 1-866-747-8169. Now, that's 1-866-747-8169. WellCare, Medicare done well.
Today on Relative Justice.
You're both his sons.
We're both his sons. We have different mothers.
I understand, though, Duval, that your life took a tragic turn.
2 years after I met him, my mom committed suicide.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
And Melvin Sr. came and got me after my 4th grade year.
If you could go back and talk to your dad right now, what would you tell him?
Words that I'm not allowed to say right now.
Real people, real cases, real families in crisis. Relative Justice with Judge Rhonda Wills starts right now.
Duval Templeton,
yes.
You are here suing your brother because you say he failed to pay half of the funeral expenses for your dad.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Melvin Templeton,
yes,
you say that you never agreed to pay anything towards your father's funeral and you don't owe your brother anything.
Well, basically, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, I'm a little confused by the names because based on the documents submitted to the court, I thought that your name was Melvin Templeton Jr. and your brother's name is Melvin Templeton II.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's confusing, so explain that to me.
Okay, so you heard the term Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh yes, and I've known many Rolling Stones, yes.
That was Melvin Sr. So,
so you're both his sons.
we're both his sons. We have different mothers.
Okay.
So,
Project Twins.
that's what they call us, Project Twins, when you're the same age, but not twins. So, our moms had.
All right, good morning. My name is Lieutenant Thomas Lazure, Thomas Lazure. I'm a lieutenant here at the West Hartford Police Department in our Detective Division. Thank you to the media for assisting us with this investigation, the University of St. Joseph admin and public safety personnel, and task force agencies within the state of Connecticut. I'd also like to thank the Mass State Police, the Poughkeepsie, New York Police Department for assisting us as information developed and leads were followed. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the group of detectives behind me. Some are not here, as they're still investigating this incident, who were actively involved around the clock with this case since it was reported early Friday morning. Since our last press release, we wanted to update you with current information regarding where we are at with this investigation. At approximately 10:18 p.m. last night, we received a call from the Farmington Police Department that our shooting suspect, Darnell Barnes, 442,000, surrendered himself and was taken into custody. He was then transported over to the West Hartford Police Department, where he was processed and charged with the following via arrest warrant: assault first degree, reckless endangerment first degree, evading responsibility, criminal mischief first degree, assault with a motor vehicle second degree. He was arraigned in Hartford Superior Court this morning and is being held on a $1 million bond. New information to put out to you: over the weekend, our detectives were able to find additional evidence to also charge Darnell Barnes with criminal attempt at murder and unlawful discharge of a firearm. This is in addition to the charges that were listed on the arrest warrant. The case is active as I stand here right now, with multiple detective personnel and resources being deployed out in the field. This incident was isolated between 3 individuals, 2 males, 1 female, one of which is a student at the university. There was an altercation at the university where shots were fired at the victim. This incident continued from the University of St. Joseph onto Albany Ave, where a vehicle that this suspect was driving made contact with the victim's vehicle. As a result of that contact, the victim's vehicle rolled over and additional shots were fired on Albany Ave in the area of the Calvary Church. Evidence at the crash scene and investigative measures led us to develop a vehicle that the suspect was driving and the direction he was going. That information was provided to the Massachusetts State Police, who later located the suspect vehicle on the Mass Pike in the state of Massachusetts. That vehicle has since been seized and will be processed by West Hartford detective personnel. Darnell Barnes had a valid pistol permit. That has since been revoked. We also have not located the firearm that was used in this crime. We ask the public to continue providing us with information by calling the West Hartford Police Department at 860-523-5203 or use our WHPD tip line 860-570-8969. Again, that's 860-570-8969 for the WHPD tip line. You may also email us at whpdtips@westhartfordct.gov. That is whpdtips@westhartfordct.gov. Any questions?
Can we just go through the timeline a little bit? So shots were fired, was it specifically on campus?
Correct. Shots were fired on campus.
And do we know whether the victim was struck there or when they caught up with one another in the cars during those shots fired?
That we do not know at this point. We do know that shots were fired on campus and shots were also fired on Albany Ave.
Were they chasing each other? I mean, you're saying that you caught up.
It appears that way.
That the suspect was pursuing the victim?
Correct.
And what about the nature of this dispute? I mean, you're saying 2 guys and a female. Was this like a love triangle? Like what was happening?
What I will say is that there was an altercation and it is relationship related.
Who's dating in that scenario?
I don't want to get into those details.
Was the initial part of this altercation happen off campus?
That we're putting all of that information together now, but all 3 individuals do know each other, so there is a history between all 3. But yeah, it started what's being reported today is that it started on campus. And
Is the suspect a student as well?
the suspect is not a student.
Who was the
What was
student?
The student is a female.
What was do we know what the suspect was doing on campus? Was he there to party, visit friends, or go to a movie? I mean, why was he?
Yeah, I mean, you're right on it. I mean, it's relationship based. The argument was over a relationship, and that was why he was there.
Where
You
does
had said that
Poughkeepsie
there was
come
a
in?
valid pistol permit, so are we not talking about any illegal weapons or drugs?
Correct. No illegal weapons, and he had a valid pistol permit.
Are you
No
allowed
drugs?
to have a
No
pistol
drugs?
on campus?
That, off the top of my head, I do not know.
No drugs?
No drugs on campus.
Do we know the condition of the victim?
Non-life threatening.
And is the victim still hospitalized?
That I do not know at this point. I do know that he is talking and he's expected to recover.
Was the girl in the car with him as well when those shots were fired?
That I can't release.
What does Poughkeepsie have? What's the connection there, you think?
We got a bunch of leads. We take anything that we can. That's how Poughkeepsie got roped in. Leads, tips, anything that we can gather. We investigated every single tip that came in, every single piece of evidence that people provided us, cameras, etc. All that was put together by these folks, and that's what led us to Poughkeepsie. Some information touched base out there. We reached out to them and involved them as well.
Are these 3 Connecticut residents?
Yes.
Do you know how he ended up in Farmington?
That I do not know.
And just to clarify, the victim of the
car crash, the male, was he a student at St. Joseph's as well?
He was not a student. The 2 males are not students. The 1 female is a student.
And you said he turned himself in, but I mean, is he cooperating with your investigation?
He surrendered with counsel present. He has an attorney. He did not. He invoked his amendment to Fifth Right Amendment to not speak to us, which is his right, and we did not question him.
Where's he from, the suspect?
That I don't want to release.
Does he have prior history, either with West Hartford Police, or just, are you aware of a criminal history in Connecticut?
There's no history.
Nothing, this
Nothing.
is his first offense?
Correct.
Can you just talk a little bit about, this obviously could have turned out a lot worse than it did. Just talk a little bit about that. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, by the grace of God, nobody died. There were a lot of, there were rounds being fired, and it's on a college campus. It's a senseless act of violence that occurred here in town. We know it. We felt it. This town's not used to this type of stuff, but we were ready. We absorbed as much information as we possibly could in the middle of the night, all night. These guys, I'm surprised they're as awake as they are right now. I'm surprised I'm as awake as I am right now. But that information, we absorbed it all. It's scary. We don't want people committing acts of violence anywhere. But it just heightens our level of alertness when it happens on campus and students and at dark, at night, non-students, etc.
do you know how many shots roughly were fired total?
Several. I don't know exactly how many.
Can you also talk about the fact it's not only the gunfire that's bad, but I mean, if they're chased, Albany Avenue is a huge stretch.
Mhm.
I mean, that, the Mass Pike, I mean, can you talk about kind of the driving part of
Yeah.
this, and, that is endangering everyone on the road?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the reckless driving charge comes in, or reckless endangerment. He's trying to run from the police. That's exactly what he did. But these guys were able to develop all types of intelligent information and track him down. And one thing that we will do in this agency is we will chase you to the end of this earth to track you down if you commit a crime of violence here.
You obviously got from Massachusetts back to Connecticut. Are you looking at any other person's potential involvement?
We feel confident that this is just isolated between the 3 of them.
Do you have any feel, though, for how he managed to abandon his car on the Mass Pike and then flee and somehow end up back in Connecticut? Are there, the last question was, other people perhaps involved, or did he run all the way back?
We're developing that. That's still being developed.
Your pursuit of him into Massachusetts, can you talk about that? How far was there a chase to a certain point, and then?
There was no police chase, if that's what you mean. There was no police chase at all. Investigative measures were developed and obtained to try and track him down, and that's exactly what we did. And that information, we had information that he was in Mass, and we turned that over to the Mass State Police who located this car.
Might have missed it, but can you say specifically where on campus this happened?
I don't recall where.
You said he's facing an attempted murder charge.
Correct. That is in addition to the charges that were listed and put out to you folks on the warrant.
Just to shore this up, to make sure that we all have it right, obviously we know the shots were fired on campus. Did they immediately jump in their cars and then that pursuit happened? Was there a gap of time? Could you kind of shore that up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's blatantly obvious. I mean, if anybody's being shot at, they're going to want to run away, and that's exactly what happened.
So they both jumped in separate cars?
Correct. Correct.
I might have missed this too, but the victim was the female, or was it?
The victim is a male.
Victim's a male.
Yep.
And you're not releasing or saying whether she was in the car with the victim or stayed on campus?
That I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if she was in the car, next to the car, out of the car, but we're obviously looking into that.
Will there be any sort of review or change to security policies at the university, or in cooperation with your department?
Yep, myself and members of the administration, the assistant chiefs, met with public safety over at the University of St. Joseph's shortly after, following the incident. We discussed our concerns, and just to make sure that they were squared away. They had a contingency plan just in case while we were still searching for the suspect. They activated those contingencies and ensured everyone's safety.
Was anything caught on camera?
Yes.
Is that something that would be released by you guys or the university?
Nothing's going to be released on camera at this time.
The female student, does she live on campus?
Yes, she does.
And any reason why he turned himself into Farmington?
That I do not know. I don't know.
And the age of the male victim?
I don't recall off the top of my head. I don't know off the top of my head.
Did the victim?
He was in his
also-
20s. Yep.
Did the victim also have a gun on him, or was it just the suspect?
Well, we didn't recover the gun. And there were no guns recovered at the scene.
So is it safe to say that it was the suspect who had the gun,
Correct.
but you don't know if the victim also had one?
Correct.
Do you have a type
He did
of
not
gun?
have one at the scene,
Did not
to be
have
clear.
one.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you have a type of gun that was used?
It was a 9mm. We're not sure what model.
And obviously this is relationship-based. Did they go to like high school together? Do you know how far back the history goes with these three?
That's
people?
all being developed.
How many gunshot wounds did the victim sustain?
Several. Anything else?
When's the last time you had an investigation of this sort in West Hartford?
It's been a while. All right, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you.